Okay, so you just finished watching a bunch of YouTube videos on how to trade options, and you heard that it's very risky, but you think you have an idea and you want to start paper trading and testing your strategy, right? So one way you could do it is by recording everything manually, doing it in Excel or something. But the best way would be to use a backtesting software. Like this is Option Stack. I love it because it lets you do the things that people who can code are able to do without any of the learning. So you can see it's just these little blocks that you can move in and out. Uh, you can change whatever you want. So this is for the SPY, which is the stock market. Basically, it's the S&P 500, and then whenever the RSI for the last 7 days is above 50. And you can see this yellow line is the RSI, the green line is the portfolio return. So you can see if it goes down, and then the blue line is the actual S&P. So you can see when the S&P dropped, our green lines, our profit stayed stable. So we didn't lose any money because our strategy said, hey, the RSI is way too low, let's not get invested. And that paid off because you can see at the very end, um, our strategy made 13% return and the S&P made a 3% return. So we're just buying and selling the S&P. Whenever you see this little T, that's for a transaction. So you click on the transactions tab down here and you can see first time we bought it was at the very beginning. It did drop a little bit and that's when we got out. You see we sold on that day. And then once it came back up on March 26th, right here, we bought it again. So it's a very simple strategy, but we can just edit it however we want. So this was the RSI. It's got a ton of stuff. The RSI is just basically telling you if it's way too sold or too many people buying. And it has tons and tons of technical indicators you could trade with. It's very beginner friendly. It has a lot of pre-built stuff. If you click over here on the Strategy Explorer, you can just try one of their stuff. I'm going to go ahead and keep my example just because it's the simplest. So whenever the stock meets this criteria, we're going to do a buy. We're going to buy one stock, maximum of one. You can change whatever you want. And which one are we going to buy? We're just going to buy the stock. So you don't really need to worry about this last part. That's mostly for options. And then down here, we're going to, whenever the S&P is below 40, we're going to close that. We're just going to sell our position. So that's the simple buying and selling stock and a very simple back test, and you can just see proof. And then you click on build strategy as many times as you want. You can see no quota limits. You can just keep clicking that and it'll do like the first few months. And then once you have the strategy however you want, you can click run back test and it'll run it for the full duration. So this is from February 2020 all the way to August 2020 or September. That was a very volatile time in the market. It's one of the worst in history when it dropped 29%, but it did recover and came back up. So it's a really good testing period. I think when you buy premium, it will give you more options. So you just click upgrade here. And the best part about this, which not many backtesting strategies have, is options. Option strategies are very tough to backtest because there's so many variables, but over here you can click on option strategies and you see all the options that they have. So if you wanted to, you just drag one of these over. So let me go ahead and create trade, one leg or just the stock. So right now I was doing just the stock. Now we're going to add a simple leg. So instead of buying the stock, we can buy a call option. So let's go ahead and drag that in. And so we're no longer going to buy the stock. Let me right click and disable that. Instead, we're going to buy a call option. We're going to buy one call option, which is going, we need to choose which date we want it to expire. So let's say 1 month out, whether that's, 20 to 40 days. We're going to choose out of the money, which means it's going to be a little riskier, but it'll be very cheap and lots of return on profit if we're correct. And then the absolute value of the price. So I'm going to leave it as is. And then over here, you want to make sure you're closing that call option if the conditions get bad. Otherwise, it'll just expire. So you go ahead and click build strategy. I don't know what it's trying to tell me. It's just trying to tell me that I should have deleted this, which is fine, whatever. So you can see there was no trades opened. There you go. It made one trade and it lost a bunch of money. So that was on the short-term back test. Let's go ahead and run the long-term one. So this is going to take a little while, but it's going to run it. The first one was from February to April. This one's from February all the way to September. So instead of 2 months, this is like 7 months. So you can see this strategy is not very good, but when it is good, it did really well. So it returned 300%, and then we lost it all because again, options are very volatile and risky. But you can see at the end, portfolio percent return is the green line. It's at 76% return compared to 4% if we just did the stock. So it's a lot riskier for sure, but if you have a strategy, you can see you get massive returns. And now we can fine tune that. And let's say we only want to buy when the RSI is at 60 or maybe 40, whatever you want. You can fine tune it and play with it and then click back test and you're good. Once you get a strategy that you're comfortable with, it's what you wanted, it's making lots of money. You can test it on different stocks. Go ahead and click here, drop a different stock in there. Once you get comfortable with it, you can then take that over to a screener like TradingView and set up the criteria and say whenever the RSI is, below 60 or above 60, go ahead and send me an alert or maybe set up some auto trading. But definitely test your theories first with no risk and a full backtest on this simple platform, drag and drop. Definitely recommend it. Give it a try.